Hi there everyone, it's Jeanette here from Enthusiastic Gardener. Welcome back to my garden. We are now in September. So we're still in the summer. Until the 21st of September it is still summer. I have one more major planting project which I have been considering and thinking about, and I think I'm ready to make a start today. And it is literally on the other side of this cabin. We have another shady corner. This is Shady Corner Mark 1, which I think I said to you in a recent video. I do actually find shady gardens far easier to plant and to choose plants for and to look after sometimes than sunny borders. So I don't mind shady borders, I quite welcome them. And you can see it's the morning now. We have a little bit of sun here, but the rest of it's in shade, and the sun will move away throughout the day. It's about 10:30 in the morning. We had last year over in that side of the corner of the garden, Carnival Corner. Carnival Corner was fantastic in my opinion, and I do know quite a few of you agreed it was a fun area. We had colourful bunting, we had flamingos, we had vibrancy and plants, and it was wonderful. However, the bunting faded and frayed and had to take that down. And by the way, I'm banned from putting up any more bunting by Richard. He refuses to allow me to put more bunting, so anything carnival related is now out of the question. The flamingos I had, they've migrated to other sides of the garden, so we're left with a very sad, sorry area. And I've been trying to think, what can I do to make it beautiful? As I said, it's shade, so I've decided it's going to become Woodland Courtyard, which I thought had a nice ring to it because I like to name all the little areas. So I'm going to take you round to Carnival Corner via the rest of the garden. My new beautiful, I was going to call this Pot Corner, but then I thought it sounds like, if I call it Pot Corner, it sounds like somewhere where you go and smoke something you shouldn't be smoking. So we're not going to call it Pot Corner. I think we'll call it Container Garden. Yes, Container Garden. And then this, I haven't put the fountain on. This is where the flamingos have migrated to. This is going to be called Fountain Garden, I think. And I do sit in that chair a lot as well. Richard made that chair. And here's the rest of the garden, and we lead up to the very sad ex-Carnival Corner, which I'm going to change today into my Woodland Courtyard. And it's very sorry looking. You can see I haven't planted this. This is a lovely planter, and it's had nothing in it all year. It has trellis as well, with a little lizard, and it's just growing weeds. This here is a planter with more weeds, and I'm not even sure what this is. But that could be saved and made nice. I'm going to paint this. I have some spray paint, black spray paint. I've been doing quite a bit of painting, and people have asked me any particular kinds of paint. For my colourful things that I've painted, I've just used a box of paints which I bought from Amazon, and then I find if I cover them with clear varnish, then that's good enough. So I will cover this with clear varnish as well. Now look at the sadness and the mess of the bench area. These lovely little hanging pots. By the way, this was a radiator that we had, and it was vertical on the wall in our kitchen, but the radiator broke, so Richard upcycled it and turned it into a back for my potting bench. And my potting bench is so useful, but doesn't it look untidy we have all this growing over. These are blackberries, which I could pick those, but you can see the canes just, I'm always cutting these canes. So what I'm going to do is cut all along there, get rid of all that. That will grow again, obviously, but this is just for now to make it tidy. And you can see this tree that we cut down in the early spring. It's a volunteer tree, and of course it's come back again. So such is gardening. Things grow. The things that grow are usually the things you don't want, but it's so untidy. So I'm going to tidy all this up, and also I've stored all my sowing equipment, all my seeds and things, and they're just, because the water can come down through the slats up here, things are just getting ruined down there. So I'm going to tidy all that up. This is a big mess. That's going to be tidied up. I need to sweep all along, and then we've got 2 water butts which I use all the time. This is a lizard. I think we bought him in somewhere like Puerto Banús in Spain, so I might paint him, as this is going to be a woodland area. But you can see the sorry condition of the inside of my beautiful Victorian wall tall greenhouse. It's got nothing in there but a little bit of death, and I'm using this gorgeous greenhouse for just rubbish. That's not good. It's not good. I need to tidy up this other plant here. This is my walnut tree, so that's rather nice, and I thought that I could move this perhaps over to here. So what I'm trying to create is a beautiful courtyard, because even a small space we can use and make it look beautiful. I also have this. It's always in the shade. It's a clematis, which I think needs to be moved, so I can put some shady plants there. I just want to fill it up with woodland wonderfulness, and so that's what I'm going to do today. This little courtyard garden leads off to our garage, the back door of our garage there. Very useful, used all the time, but I think it can be wonderful, and that's what I want to do today. So what I'm going to do is tidy it all up, cut all that back, clean these pots, tidy this up, probably rearrange some of that, might store some of that in my greenhouse, because that will encourage me to do some sowing, I hope, when it's all nice and organised. So I'm not going to show you that, but with the magic of editing, in just the flick of my fingers, let's see if I can do this, it will be done. I don't think this is going to work, but let's try. And it is done! My woodland courtyard is finished. It's been a couple of days, but I am so delighted, not least because this, as you saw, was an area which was just abandoned and unloved, and now it's beautiful, I think, in my opinion. Anyway, let me take you around and show you what I've done. Everything in the woodland courtyard can handle shade, and most of it is full shade. Do get a little bit of sun here and there, and I've also bought everything which can be evergreen. That's what I've tried to achieve. So we have a lot of ferns. They're evergreen ferns. They're all going to get much bigger than this. So some of them are 1 metre tall, some of them are very wide as well. And I was so impressed with my ferns in Shady Corner that I thought, right, ferns are the way to go. So these two are called Dryopteris Felix-Mas, and I've also painted my little lizard, given him a new coat of paint, and moved him over to here. Then as we turn the corner, we have a couple more here. Now these two will also get very big, and they are called Polystichum Tsussimense, something like that. And this is in my little container, which I've painted black because it was a wooden colour. And I received this when I left my school 2 years ago. It says, Jeanette, our enthusiastic gardening peach, because we all call each other Peach, we will blooming miss you. Isn't that sweet? And you may remember I used this before when I created my little fairy garden. So as we move along, we have, I already had that evil eye. I think it's called evil eye. That was from when I went to Cyprus. I've added some little bits of metal artwork which I found on Amazon. I have given my little hedgehog a paint, so he's looking nice. It might be a girl actually, I think it's a girl. That was just rust, and what I did, I bought some black paint that you can spray directly on rust. So that's looking nice. And this is the reason that I thought of this Woodland Courtyard, which it was last week. You may remember I dug up 3 Spiders Web Fatsias from the front garden, and so they've been in a pot. They've now been in the shade, and I really do think already, now this was the best one of the bunch, but I do think already it's loving it over in the shade. And we just have a Heuchera. I dug that up from another spot in my garden. I've done a lot of Robin Peter to pay Paul, a new little ivy. And this one here, this Heuchera, was one of the ones that when I divided my Heucheras earlier this year and rooted them, and that's one of those, and you'll see some more in a moment of those, which here are all in the pots. So we already had this. This is my walnut tree, which I've moved to the other side. And as we pan around, you can see the second of my spider's webs. This one is actually perked up no end. I've moved the mushrooms, which were in Shady Corner, because they got lost and disappeared. This is the rusty old lizard, which I've painted, given him a little new lease of life. And then this fern here, a Cyrtomium, that's very pretty. This one will get big as well. That's lovely. Now these 4 pots, which I'll show you, I've 2 on the other side. These were my absolute bargain, Facebook Marketplace. And I've 2 this side, and let me show you these. This was the worst of the Fatsia Spiders Webs, so I had to cut quite a lot off of that one, but even that one looks reviving. And that's another fern exactly the same. You can see my little dragonflies have been put around here. We have one of the little tortoises. That is just, well, I've had that goodness knows how many years. It was in my other garden, so 25, 30 even. And I just painted that. But what I was going to say about the pots, yes. Those pots were 4 pots. They're 2 foot tall. And they were 4 pots for £20. And I'd been looking for pots, and they were like 70, 80, 90 pounds each. And I managed to find those for £20 for 4. I've said it twice because I'm still amazed. We have a couple more ferns here. This one is ASPLENIUM. And this here, I'm not sure what this is. This was already in the pot, so it could be a weed. But anyway, we'll see what happens with that. This was the little plant which was in the black planter, which I explained earlier. So put him in there. And then these, all of these along here, they're all, I've taken them from other parts of my garden, and all the little Heucheras were ones that I've divided. We've got a Brunnera. I divided all those earlier in the year, and they've all taken. So they look cute. We have a little bumblebee up the top. And then as we pan around, I've just added these 2, which are just a little bit of colour. There's my water butts, but it's nice and tidy, and I've swept and cleared all the leaves away, and I did cut away quite a lot from there. Those bits that are there I couldn't actually reach. I was standing on this and leaning across. I couldn't actually reach. They will all grow again. Now my greenhouse has been really tidied up, and I was thinking to myself that I don't use my greenhouse for growing plants in, but then I thought, why is that bothering me? It's going to be an attractive storage place for all my bits and pieces. So in the bottom we've just got my kneeling mat, my garden shoes. That is my what I use for compost mixing, and a bag of compost. I have my, you can see there, happy birthday Jeanette, and then blooming, what does that say? Blooming lovely at 60, and then that one says the enthusiastic gardener. And this is my box with all my seeds in, and then I bought these 6 little boxes from Amazon, and then I've put, that's a random things in there. They're all my gloves and my farming sleeves. These are all ties and bits of string, bits of wire. Oops. This is all plant tags, which I thought I'd write those out nicely for the ferns, so I will do that. There we have scoopers, and there we have my secateurs. There we have some little pretty watering cans. This box here has all my old plant tags in. This is an old replica of a cassette tape. For those of you who are old as me, you will remember cassette tapes. That's what they used to look like, and that's got all little plant ties in. And these are my, I'll say it really quickly, fake plants. Okay, I said it. So that was given to me by a beautiful friend. So I have a couple more metal art pieces, and then last little bits now. We have this fern, is called ATHYRIUM NIPONICUM PICTUM. Very nice. And then this was the planter that I spray painted, and then in there we have these, which are called Taxus, Baccata, FASTIGIATA, Robusta, which I think are very nice. This cat here, I painted him. I found him in the shed. I'd had him years ago, so I thought, oh well, I've got my paints out. We'll give him a little paint. So then, of course, I have my lovely little colourful piece of glass. So that's it. My new Woodland Courtyard. I am loving my little Woodland Courtyard, and I hope you'd like it too, and I hope it's given you perhaps some ideas of, you may have a little tiny little corner somewhere which can still be beautiful, and it's still all part of our garden, so we might as well make the most of all our square footage and enjoy it. So thank you for watching. I'm Jeanette, I'm the enthusiastic gardener. I hope you're having fun in your gardens. September already, so we're heading into autumn or fall. Yes, the leaves will be falling very soon, so let's make the most of everything while we still can. Take care everyone, thank you for watching, bye.